Hello, good evening. I welcome all our viewers to this IAI3 Edutalk Session. And I also welcome our guest for this evening, Mahrukh Bharucha. Mahrukh, welcome to our show. And I believe you're going to speak to us about drama, a wonderful education tool. It sounds extremely interesting. Thank you so much for coming. So IAI3 Edutalk, these are basically conversations where we share the stories, untold stories of people who, by the sheer dint of their self-belief and hard work, have come up and they have made not only a name for themselves, but they have touched the lives of millions of people. And so we have had people from different career backgrounds. That has been one of our missions. And the second mission was the amount of social work that is going on, not only with the experts who come onto our show, but lots of communities of helpers are being formed. So we have invited COVID warriors, people who have provided food to so many people, medicine, vaccines, so on and so forth. So this brilliant idea of starting conversations with people like you and me, who have now become experts, was the idea. It was conceptualized by our president, Dr. Neeta Parate. So folks, I'm Anjali Sangvi. I'm a soft skills trainer and I am your host for this evening. Now, it is with immense joy and delight that I have to introduce to you a very good friend and an unconventional boss lady, Mahrukh Bharucha. She is a fun person. Anytime you meet her, there is such an upsurge of energy that hits you right between the eyebrows. And you cannot but get into an energized good mood. So we are going to, of course, speak to Mahrukh a little later about what is the source of this great happiness and great surge of energy. But on the professional front, Mahrukh is the founder and creative director of an academy called Expressions Unlimited. Now, this academy runs several courses. We are going to speak to Mahrukh about these courses, but just to name a few, they are voice, speech, and drama, communication skills, public speaking, and many, many more. Mahrukh also owns her own company called KAVI, which is KAVI, and here she teaches English as a spoken language, management, aviation English, and hospitality soft skills. Now, everywhere, in every course that Mahrukh undertakes, she believes that drama is an integral part in explaining the concepts. So, experiential learning, engaging the participants so that their cognitive skills are utilized. And gradually, we try to get them to feel the emotion of what is being taught. Now, Mahrukh has been invited by the prestigious IATEFL, which is a teachers training platform. And she had gone and performed and given her signature workshop, Drama in the English Classrooms in Beijing and in Paris for teachers. Now, Mahrukh has got several certifications. One is in experiential learning, several more. And then one is in drama for the oppressed training. And the techniques that she has imbibed here, she has used them in her training programs. Now, Mahrukh has run lots of inclusive plays for children from special schools, and she makes sure that the teachers also participate. And then these students, maybe the numbers are in thousands, they are trained to join mainstream schools. She is a comprehensive sexuality education faculty, and she runs workshops for adults and children in this very sensitive topic. Mahrukh is also the All India head for one of UK's oldest drama schools. The acronym is LAMDA. It starts for the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts. And here the examiners come from abroad and the exams are held all over India. Now she writes short stories, drama, skits, street plays, theater, every form of literature. She is a master. Theater, poetry, drama, of course, and these are applied in her teaching skills. Now, she is an avid traveler. She cooks, she reads, she listens to music. And all of this she does with a tremendous amount, humongous amount of energy. So Mahrukh, once again, I welcome you to our show. We are so honored to have you here, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Anjali. Thank you for having me over. Thank you.
Thank you. So Mahrukh, I do know that when you started your working journey, you wanted to become a chef. But
Yes.
then how did you come into this education line?
Well, I always say I was an accidental teacher. I am an accidental teacher, pun intended. My teacher, my speech and drama teacher, Mahrukh Bharucha, had an accident, and she needed to have someone come in and substitute. And there I was just out of school and thrilled to be going back to the same school as a teacher.
Yes.
And after that, there's been no looking back. It was always my dream to be a chef. Actually, it still is.
Yes.
And I dabbled in it for a while. I did my hotel management. I did my trainings in some very prestigious 5-star hotels in Bombay.
Yes.
I've done a lot of good work, even in a
Wow.
couple of hotels here in the kitchens in Pune.
Yes.
But finally, when push came to shove, I realized that when I graduated in 1991-92, no one in Pune was going to give me a job in the kitchen. And then I sort of took stock and looked at my options.
Yes.
And realized that since I'd already been running my academy as a part-time, hobby professional sort of thing,
Yes.
it just made sense to continue.
Yes.
And there was a bit of a personal angle involved here.
Right.
I was already dating this man who I'm now married to. We've been happily married. Well,
Yes.
I say happily, I don't know whether he'll agree or not. We've been happily married for around 28 years. And
Wow, that's amazing. Long journey together, fabulous.
Yes, long torturous journey for him. More pleasant for me. And I knew that, I wanted to go down this path with, the whole traditional marriage, children, that sort of thing.
Yes, yes.
And I also wanted to work, and it was sort of working out better for me to
Yes.
just be in Pune, do everything that I enjoyed. And that meant giving up something. Well, it had to be the hotel field because, well, that is just how it was.
Exactly,
That's how the
yes.
cookie crumbles, doesn't it?
Sure. And we have to make the choices. I think on your tagline, you put that the road less traveled, and that's what made all the difference.
Yes,
And
that's a
what
Robert
you did.
Frost line. It's the tagline of my emails. Yes.
Yes, that's so beautiful. And Mahrukh, Expressions Unlimited. I think it's a very appropriate name for an academy, English Teaching Academy. And how did you think of this name? And please, could you share with us about your courses and whether they're specific to any age group? Please throw some light on it.
Oh, well, Expressions Unlimited is actually not the English Speaking Academy. It's the speech and drama
Academy. Right.
It's
Yes.
my sort of what I call the flagship company.
Yes.
We have a vertical, we used to have a vertical of which you were a part called Club English.
Yes.
That was for the spoken English for the children. And then we have KAVI for the other more professional, vocational kind of work.
Yes. Yes.
And Expressions Unlimited, I mean, the name, I sort of hit upon it again quite by accident. I knew that I was finding more and more that, helicopter parenting had started.
Yes.
Children were being told what to do, how to do it, just how much to do. Don't smile so much over here, smile so much over there, that sort of thing.
Yes.
And I don't know, I mean, I'm a great advocate of play. I believe that everyone at all stages of life should just go on playing. Whether it's with, your body, where, you're just sort of fiddling around all the time and keeping all those muscles on the go, or whether it's with your mind and you're just trying out different stuff, or it's with your voice, or it's with your expressions. So Expressions Unlimited sort of became like my umbrella concept that, okay, whatever you want to express and however you want to express it, do it, without any limitations, be unlimited. That was my, thought process.
Yes.
And I've never regretted it.
Sure, and children can be creative. If they're too suppressed, then they just don't be their normal selves.
Why just children, even adults? I tell you, sometimes I meet such stuffy old people and sad because they're only in their 20s. But I think of them as stuffy old people because, well, that's what they are. They've learned to sort of, fit into some crazy molds
Yes.
which they didn't opt for. Someone sort of pushed them in there and they've had to sort of fit and adjust. And I mean, just imagine if, someone boxes you in and then how sort of.
That's true. That's true.
Yes, Anjali, of course, Anjali. Thank you, Anjali. So yeah,
the people fall into a mold,
yes,
into a kind of, they get typecast. So Mahrukh, since drama is very interesting and all of us want to know about it as a teaching skill, you have said that whether you're teaching language or management, you always use drama for explaining the concepts, making people perform, understand, do their best. Please, we'd like to discuss a little bit more about drama. Please.
So a lot of people misunderstand the terminology drama. Drama is just the process. Your voice, your mind, your face, your expressions, all of that in order to communicate.
Right.
And if that is, through an improvisational structure where, you've just said, okay, this is your trigger and work it out sort of thing, or whether you've sort of given a problem and asked people to, again, think in different ways and figure out a solution.
Yes,
whatever it is, a drama becomes like a simulator for life. Children play mummy daddy, children play doctor. Children sort of, play teacher.
Yes.
And it's when a child is playing let me be the teacher that you realize what kind of teachers they've had. And you realize that, okay, this poor child has a terrible teacher. Or, oh my God, what a wonderful person is teaching this child.
Yes.
Similarly, when children say that, I'm going to be the mother and you be the father and so and so, within a few sentences of their interaction, you realize what kind of parents they have.
Yes. Yes.
So it's literally like children embody what they see. Children almost never learn through what is being said to them.
Right.
They sort of watch us and they become whatever we are.
Yes.
And while I'm, going on using the generic term children, it's an all-encompassing kind of a terminology for any student. Any student learns best initially by emulation, then, sort of by simulation, and then goes into the freer practice and then actually becomes the master of whatever new skill they want to imbibe.
Right.
So when we talk about drama as a tool in management, I mean, consider if, you want to drive some kind of a change. Now, as a boss, I can just walk into a department and say, I want you to do this.
Right.
But then I've just said what I want. That's the first thing.
Yes.
I'm not considering what you want or what you are capable of.
Exactly right. Yes.
And very often, this is the problem with a lot of, businesses, corporate houses, factories, managements, that they know what they want, but they've sort of missed the boat or missed the bus when it comes to how to get that change sort of driven.
Right.
And no one is going to take ownership of the change you want. Everyone is going to take ownership of the change I buy into, I want. So it's about taking this so-called ideal, and whether it's through storytelling, or whether it's through skits, or whether it's through showing them a film, however it is, and then sort of doing a little bit of role play, that we eke out the behavior which is undesirable, and we sort of start facilitating, again, in a simulated role play situation, what it is that we do want.
Right.
So this is also very similar to the functional language that one practices with teachers who struggle with English. So when I do teacher training courses, I literally write down all the functional language into a script, and then the teachers are just practicing that. Because what is the point of me teaching grown-up women or men English grammar? What is the point? What is the point of my saying, say this or say that? Just let them, sort of
get the feel of the language.
Let them use it, let them play with it, let them have fun. And the word fun is so undervalued and underestimated. When I have fun, I learn the most. I am myself the most. And by I mean all of us.
All the participants also, yes.
Of course.
Yes.
And, there's this fear that most of us get driven by.
Yes.
That sort of starts, dissolving.
Dissolving, yes.
And, the entire equation starts building where, trust builds and fear sort of falls away. Because most of the time, that's all that negative vibe is. It's just fear.
Oh, yes, yes. So actually, we don't have to consciously teach children anything. They look and they learn and they pick it up, right?
Yes. Not just children, even grown-ups.
Grown-ups also.
Yeah, because grown-ups are actually just children in big bodies.
In big bodies. And in the corporate world nowadays, there's a lot of training going on in empathetic leadership, so which comes down to participation of all the audience that you have when you train, right? Yeah. So Mahrukh, teachers training in India, and I'm asking this question vis-a-vis the training that you did in Beijing and in Paris, and you had conducted your signature workshops, drama in the English classroom. What is the difference, and can you tell us about it, whether we can learn from them or they learn from us, or a kind of exchange of cultures in teaching? How does it work out? Teachers training.
You're asking me how it's different and what we can learn from them.
Yes, exactly.
Almost nothing is different, except the fact that in Beijing, they look Chinese and they speak in a Chinese accent.
Yes.
And when they mumble the English words, it's a little hard to understand.
Yes.
In France, there was a more global kind of, an audience that attended my workshops.
Wow.
And again, strange European accents. But finally, when push comes to shove, people are people, human beings are human beings. And, when I go and stand there, I'm very tall. I'm nearly 6 feet tall.
Oh, wow.
And you know that. I have a good head over you. And I have this mop of hair. So, I have a presence.
Presence, yes.
Then, they're like, oh my God, who is this? And what is she going to do? And we hear that she's from India. Isn't that the place where they have all those snakes and elephants? And,
yes, I know. They still feel like
that.
I
take my elephant out for a walk every morning and feed the snakes a little later and stuff like that. So apart from all these miscommunicated, notions of who and what Indians are, and, what they imagine, I'm going to be sitting and doing, there's not much difference.
No difference, not at all. Actually, there's a lot of friendship nowadays because of the digital world. The world has become one global unit.
Yes.
I think it must be beautiful for you to be there with them.
Yeah, it's lovely. And like you said, when you asked me what is there to learn from them, there's a lot to learn from everyone.
Yes.
I'm the kind of person who never walks out of a bad play. And I go for a lot of plays, but even if it's a horrible one, I don't walk out of it. And some of my senior students hate me for that. They're like, why won't you let us go away during the interval? And I'm like, no, for two reasons. One is because there's a lot of effort that's been put into, putting this whole show together.
Yes.
So it is with these workshops and symposiums and international conferences and stuff. Secondly, if you find that something is really not working for you, sit through it and take notes about what never to do in future.
Right.
So there's a lot to learn about. Okay, when I conduct my symposium in Delhi or Bombay or Calcutta or wherever I'm going to do it, a few years later, these are the mistakes I'm not going to be making.
Sure.
So hopefully, that sort of comes through. But what I really learned about CPD, and that is continuous professional development or continuing professional development, through the energy that comes in from the people who sort of work towards making these conferences happen and actually executing them and bringing in such a wide range of teachers, right from kindergarten to almost A levels. That's like till your 12th standard or so.
Okay.
So you're looking at a wide range of learning audiences. Each teacher wants a different answer to the same question, because I mean, how do you teach drama, or how do you use drama in a classroom for primary school? How do you vis-a-vis how do you use drama to teach language at O level, at an O level?
Yes.
So it's definitely same but different.
That's true.
And here I am with 25 years, 30 years of experience. And if you ask me the right questions, I would love to give you the right answers, because it makes no sense to not give you the accurate information, because you get from somewhere someday and then you'll just hate me for it. And I don't like being hated very much.
No, and I'm sure, as you said, that it's specific to every situation. Every training program is different, right? And
yes, of course.
Mahrukh, you have such a superb urge to do things. Your academy, EU, is so well structured, so well organized that it can run on its own. And at the same time, you want to go and get certification in so many different streams of knowledge. And first thing, we would like to know what they stand for: CSE, TOEE, and what is your great motivation to get these certificates, and how do you plan to use them, the knowledge?
So in the last 3 years, this is since 2019 or so, I've done 3 major courses. One is EE, that is Experiential Education. The other one is TO, that is Theatre of the Oppressed. And I did 2 trainings, one offline and one online, in CSE, and that is Comprehensive Sexuality Education. And all my work is sort of moving towards giving myself or adding to my sense of conviction and giving me a vocabulary to explain to people that drama is not an optional subject any longer.
Okay.
Because look at what just happened during the lockdown.
Yes.
I dare say I started my journey in most of these courses way before we even knew that we were going to go into a lockdown. I started most of these courses in 2019.
Yes.
But, the sort of hard reality hit home very quickly for a lot of others. That, subjects that just go a little beyond literacy and numeracy, subjects that go into information dissemination.
All right.
These are subjects which people can learn off the internet now. Most kids have a little smartphone and they know how to wield that extremely well.
Yes.
So why is a teacher necessary? Why is learning in a school environment necessary now onwards? And what makes schools and what makes teachers relevant is not the subject or the subject matter that they teach, but how they teach, and also how much social emotional learning goes into that.
Sure. It's very
What is the
subjective.
point? What is the point of creating a whole class full of maybe 100 students who are getting 95, but they won't share their notes with each other?
Yes,
They can't collaborate on any project.
on any human level,
You know,
yes.
they don't like working with each other. They just, like, oh, I'm not going to show you this, I'm not going to give you that, or there is mistrust, or there's fear, or there's this crazy dog eat dog kind of competitive
Yes, yes, I know. It's horrible.
craze. It's
Yes.
just craze. And that is not how we want our future worlds to be. Some of
Yes.
us have I have seniors and contemporaries who live that kind of life. And I know it sounds very judgmental when I say it, but I really feel very sorry for them, because
Yes.
I think, kids would miss out, people would miss out on so much if they didn't know how to work together
Socialize,
and move
yes.
forward together. So
Oh, yes. They build a wall
that
around.
end, I do all these courses, I suppose.
Yes, wow, that's really fantastic. So people, they don't become islands, they don't build a wall around themselves. Children, I think that's really nice. And the world is going to be a friendly place in future. It has to be, collaborative. And one of the Lambda exams, yes, that is the London Academy for Music and Dramatic Arts. And it's overseas examinations that take place all over India, and I'm sure all over the world. And you are the Indian head of Lambda. Could you kindly show, because of our audiences would be very interested in knowing, myself as well, what does it stand for, and how does the whole system of the examinations work out, and what is the benefits to our students?
Lambda is the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art. It's UK's oldest drama school. It was established in 1850, I think.
Wow.
So it goes back a long way. And
Yes.
around the 1880s, they started their outreach program, where their examiners could travel to the British colonies and
Yes.
conduct the exams there itself. This was probably because, wherever they had sort of colonized the world and tried to civilize us, they had their, teachers who were teaching elocution and so on and so forth.
Yes.
They were looking for some kind of a standardized global assessment platform.
Yes.
And I dare say they grew very well. There's a lot of other companies that sort of joined in close on their heels, and also sort of started providing the same services parallelly.
Yes.
And those companies still exist, and they still do, work. But Lambda, according to me, I think is the only one that is only drama and musical theatre.
Okay.
Most of the other companies started with other stuff like music, or maybe some other stream,
Some other, yeah.
and then
Yes.
sort of also branched into speech, drama, communication skills, that sort of thing.
Wonderful.
And around 2008, I was getting a little jittery. A little before that, actually, by about 2005 or 6, I was getting a little jittery. I'm the quintessential ants in her pants kind of lady, as you know.
Right, I know.
And I was sort of feeling a little dissatisfied with the kind of work that I was doing. And I wanted more, and I wanted better.
Yes.
I always want that. I always want more. I always want better for any of my students or clients or participants in any program. I mean,
wonderful.
That's what we should be all about.
Yes.
So I started looking around. I sent out a few feelers to quite a few of these organizations that offer such overseas examinations.
Yes. Yes.
And Lambda wrote back, and they offered me initially the Western India representative role, and
Right.
sort of, naturally evolved into almost all of India.
All of India. So you do travel to these places and meet the school teachers and stuff. Is that right?
Yes, I love it. That's one of the perks
sure.
of my job. I love it. I get to travel and
Beautiful.
meet people, and that's lovely.
Meet lovely people as well. I think that's so. And then the curriculum, the course content has to be by Indian authors and poets, is it? mainly?
Sorry, I didn't catch your
The
question.
Lambda exam.
Yes.
The children, they have to select pieces by Indian authors and poets. Is that right?
So Lambda, the way it's been sort of offered right now,
Yes.
falls under a few heads. One is performance. So under performance, you have acting,
Yes.
which is, you do your exam pieces from published plays.
All right.
So to have your little monologues or whatever, and you have to act them out.
Yes.
Then there's devised drama, which means you write your own script within the framework of whatever they've said. So they might tell you that, you have to have this situation and this character. So for example, again, this is, I'm talking about, say, my 3rd or 5th standard students.
Okay.
You have to be a pilot who has lost his wallet at a beach.
Wow.
So, the kids have to be able to sort of
put it together
and sort of come up with something, and then they devise their script. And when they start thinking like this, can you imagine them a little later in their colleges or in their jobs or in their careers, thinking about, okay, this is the problem, this is the person I'm having a problem with, and this may be what I should use in order to try and solve the problem. Now, what should I do?
Exactly.
They've got their improvisational skills
That's true.
Well honed.
Yes.
And then, of course, under the performance head, there's miming, which is...
Okay. Mime, that's right. It's very well developed in the Western mind.
Yes, very well. Yeah. I mean, we have like an entire classical form of miming.
Yes.
Commedia dell'arte and, stuff like that.
Wow. It's beautiful to watch it as well.
Yes, it is.
And
there's performance. There's performance I just told you about. Then there are examinations under the head, the umbrella head of communications.
Okay.
There you have reading for performance. You have public speaking and speaking of verse and prose. And some of these you can also do as groups or as duos, so 2 at a time. And then there's musical theatre. And now, more recently, a few years ago, they've also introduced pure Shakespeare exams.
Oh,
because,
that's the most beautiful thing they could have done. Amazing.
Yes.
I'm sure we have,
Yeah, so it's very valuable for students who go to schools where in their high school, they have to study a Shakespeare play.
Yes.
Because then they sort of, start. Shakespeare never wrote his plays so that we could sit and get tortured and study them. Those plays were vibrant works of art which had to be performed.
Yes.
They had to be enjoyed. They had to be heard. Those plays had to be heard rather than seen.
Oh, yes.
They didn't have all the, stage sets and stuff like that. So it was more about, the way the words are written. You realize, okay, now there's a tree supposed to be here or a ship that's supposed to be there or whatever.
Yes.
But poor Shakespeare, I mean, he never imagined in his wildest dreams that he will become, torture medium. That's what he's become, poor chap. So anyway, they're fun. The exams are fun if they're being done in the right spirit.
Yes.
Where, again, I suppose it also depends from teacher to teacher. So if you're very sort of, oh, you must do this kind of a teacher, then, the poor child is going to be, I'm going in for an exam.
Yes.
And I'm one of those who says, hello, boss, it's an exam. We finished all the learning while we were in class. Now you're at an exam center. Go have fun. Whatever you do. Even if you make a mistake, have lots of fun, laugh. That's
just carry on. Exactly.
It depends, and the kids do very well. They do very, very well. So it's fun for them, and it's also valuable because some of these exams give them points, credits for when they
go abroad for studies.
Universities abroad and stuff.
So that's fabulous because a lot of students go to the UK.
Yes.
It's a kind of a corridor.
Yeah, it's the Lambda credits are considered in the UK, in Europe, in the US, as well as in Canada for sure. Also Australia, but I think each of these places, they come with their own little rider. But more or less, everyone's happy to accept that, okay, if you have a Lambda certificate, it's good.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow, it's like wearing your school tie for an interview and people say, okay, you're selected anyway. You don't even have to give the interview. So amazing to have a Lambda certificate.
Yeah.
So Mahrukh, if any of our young audiences, they want to take up a career such as yours, in training and speaking and in learning different aspects of drama and so many forms of spoken English. And so what would you advise them? And on the business side, do you think it's lucrative? Do you think that how much, as a ballpark figure, how much would they earn in a year?
Wow, you're getting me into trouble with the income tax, is it?
I am not from the income tax. I will not tell them anything.
This is a recorded little piece of work. So
Yes, exactly.
right?
In fact, if people pay their taxes, they can earn as much as they want.
Yeah. That's exactly my funda since before it all became all compulsory and stuff like that. Don't worry.
That's right.
Demonetization didn't affect me at all. I had hardly any cash.
Wow.
Anyway,
Oh, you weren't one of those. Oh, all right. Yeah, please continue.
Coming to your question.
Yes.
If someone wants to do what I do,
yes.
Well, a lot of people want to do what I do, and a lot of people want to do it as successfully as I do it.
Yes.
But I don't think a lot of people realize the kind of time, effort, and energy that's gone into building one's foundation for the success that I have today. It's not just the fact that I did my own, speech and drama training with all those years ago. It's not just that, I taught in a few schools and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Running your own academy is a lot more. You're looking into finances, you're looking into administration, you're looking into HR, you're looking into training, you're learning and developing and so on and so forth. One of the biggest things that I could have done was to create a curriculum and just use it year after year after year and say, okay, if you're a second standard child, you come to me, this is what I'll teach you, and off you go. By the time you come to the 10th standard, this is what we'll be doing, like a school curriculum.
Yes.
Then I say to people that then I'm not teaching students, then I'm teaching a curriculum, regardless
of it's like a school.
Students are. So if you want to build a career in something like this, be prepared to go up that entire hierarchy of what is the Bloom's taxonomy.
Yes.
So, there's memory, there's understanding, there's application. Most people add application and they think, oh, we've arrived.
Yes.
Whereas there's so much more, by the time you actually hit the crest, which is creativity, you have to go through the analysis, you have to go through the sort of,
all the foundation steps that one goes to the apex at the top, right? Yeah, that's right. I'm sure it's a lot of...
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of reading all the time, working, evolving, keeping in touch with the trend, understanding what people are going through. See, I'm not a technological person at all. I'm not a finance person at all. I'm purely a people person.
Yes, exactly.
One of the reasons that, when you see my name on the screen, you see she and her written next to it, is because of this entire gender identity issue, which when I was growing up didn't exist. It's my young students, my teachers, my senior teachers, who sort of sensitized me towards, okay, this happens, this is what the world wants. Just as the politics of India and the judiciary of India is opening up, two different genders and two different sexualities, so should our minds.
Sure.
And that true acceptance, which should happen in society, has to happen in a drama class first.
Yeah.
Or in a training scenario first. So do you like people? I mean, if you want to make a career like mine, do you like people?
Yes.
Do you want to sort of, help people to grow? You can't have this crabby mentality and say, oh, but I can only share that much because you only pay me so much as my monthly fee. So I will only do 2 poems.
So I will not take anything extra.
I have 3,000 poems in my data.
Repertoire.
And you're my child, you're my student, you're my person. Come, take whatever you want. So if you have that kind of spirit where, You can just
give away or
take what
not.
you like as long as it's going to be of some help to you.
Yes.
If you have that basic courage and spirit, then I think this would be a good line for you. And get the theory behind the practical also. I mean, don't just go into a
Oh,
classroom
yes.
and
Concepts.
start playing games without
Yes.
knowing what they're supposed to mean,
Right.
or what they're supposed to sort of, lead towards. And last but not the least, especially to the teachers who might be watching this program,
Yes.
most teachers are taught to be outcome oriented. That means before the start of a class, you have a lesson plan which says learning outcomes will be.
Yes.
So you've decided before going into the classroom what the child or what the student is going to finish learning and come out. Whereas with our classes, we are open to outcome.
Okay.
Yes, we want to achieve this and we will cover this work. So say we'll say that, we're going to do this poem today.
Right.
But during the discussion stage of the poem, we can't put in our thoughts. We
superimpose on the children. Yes.
Thoughts or the
Yes.
students' thoughts come through. So, we have to have lack of judgment. We have to have acceptance. We have to have a lot of tolerance, because you'll suddenly hear some very insensitive statements being made and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But then you have to also have the sort of toolkit
to handle them.
So that's my favorite toolkit, actually. I call it the Actors Toolkit. So in whatever profession you are, after our kind of courses, you go away with an Actors Toolkit, which is, think on your feet, know what expression to match with what word, know how to say the same thing in 5 different ways in such a way that you make the same sentence sound, like it has 5 different meanings.
Yes, exactly. And how about if you would like to share the earnings part, Mahrukh, or if you don't want to share, the sky's the limit.
I mean, you can do the maths. I usually have around 80 to 100 students at least.
At one time, one time.
I charge 1,500 rupees a month.
Okay,
but then that's what we rake in. That's not my profit, because we pay salaries, and I pay most of my teachers fairly well above the
normal standards.
The standards of what the problem is. My teachers end up earning very little, but if you sort of look at even 100 rupees an hour kind of a scale, that's like your starting salary is 16,000 a month.
Right.
So yeah, I mean,
it's good. The profession is pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. And Mahrukh, I've had the good fortune of being trained under you, and I have also worked as a facilitator under your aegis in lots of schools in Pune, teaching spoken English, speech and drama. And of course, with your guidance, needless to say, the children got high distinction in the Lambda exams. So I'm ever grateful to you for that. So please do tell us this tremendous surge of energy and being a boss without dramatics, without histrionics, being a cool, chilled out leader. And don't things bother you sometimes, that are we going to get the children ready in time for the exams or whatever else? How come you're always so cool? There has to be a source, a great source, endless source of energy.
If my husband and children are watching this program, they are going to laugh you off and send you off to the loony bin.
They are your punching bags.
What is she even saying? Mahrukh is the most dramatic, histrionic filled woman we know, kind of thing. But anyway, that's another discussion.
Yes.
I said at the beginning of this interview that children or students or participants or whoever it is, they imbibe what the leader or the parent or the teacher does.
Yes.
Not what the parent or the teacher or the leader says. So it's no point telling a child, don't shout! Be calm! I don't want you to shout!
True.
What is the child going to learn?
True.
Wow, I really outdid myself.
Need to have some water. And nowadays the children have their own personalities. They also misbehave.
Children have always had their own personality.
Yeah.
Children should, You know,
may give it back sometimes, but it's difficult.
why not?
When
We
you want
deserve
to,
it.
when you want to get some learnings to get transferred onto the children, then you need to keep them cool. And then Mahrukh, you have been interested and passionately so in cooking, traveling, writing, and listening to music. At the same time, you handle so many professional portfolios. So this dynamitic, now dynamitic, I'm using my poetic license. There is no such word as that, but this dynamitic energy of yours, and where do you get it from?
I don't know. I just love life. I love kids. I love people.
Yes.
I draw a lot of energy from the people I'm with. And in any case, the whole list of things that you rattled off, I enjoy doing all of that.
Exactly.
I know. It's our pleasure to do that.
I've been with you several years, I know,
Yeah.
and I really admire that.
Yeah.
I guess.
So, I mean, I suppose, if one decides never to settle and one decides never to sort of live life as per somebody else's terms,
yes,
as long as one is living life by one's own terms and sort of not really worried about what other people are thinking or how they're judging you or whatever, it doesn't matter. Then you are sort of free to do what you're doing.
Sure.
And if you love it, like McDonald's says, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
So I'm loving it. My life is, like I had always foreseen it. And I mean, lots and lots of mistakes, but so what? That was a learning process. And I jump out in the morning thinking, who should I trouble next? So that's a good thing, I suppose.
Yes, you enjoy everything that you're doing, and that brings out the best in you and your participants, people you deal with. But Mahrukh, it's been so insightful, and so at a human level, how does one connect with people? If you treat them with respect and with love, I'm sure they learn a lot. So we have a lot to learn from you, Mahrukh, about being a people's person. A teacher maps the potential of a student and helps them to blossom and reach it. So you've done all that, and it's been such a beautiful session. Thank you so much for coming, and we hope to keep having you on our show, learning different aspects from you about education.
Sure.
You truly are a luminary, and thank you so much for coming, Mahrukh. Now, I'm also going to be dramatic as much as I can.
Thank you, Anji. Thank you, Neeta. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot for coming, Mahrukh. And thank you, and hope to see you soon again. See you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Mahrukh.